Hello there. So if you would like us to host your website, or if you need to just modify a records for whatever reason, we'll need to modify on domain DNS settings that will point the domain to a specific server or location where your website will be hosted. So this is a tutorial that we're going to go through in order for you to know how to do that. We're going to be using Ionos as a platform as a domain registrar, but the same process can be done across other registrars. There's Namecheap, GoDaddy, there's quite a few of those. So also Google registers domains. It's pretty much the same process. The only difference is that you actually got to find where in your location, in your specific registrar, where you can get access to DNS settings. So to do that, you can just type in, let's say, GoDaddy, how to change DNS records, something like this into Google, and you should get like instructions on where to go and what to click. If you're using Google services, Google domain change DNS records, and you should also get instructions. This is specific to name server, but yeah, here this is custom name server. You don't want to change name server, you just want to change a records. You need to manage records. So yeah, this would be the tutorial for Google domain. So we're not modifying name server, we're just modifying records. That's important. If you modify name server, you will lose your DNS records. That's not a good idea. It might sound a little bit complicated, but it's actually fairly simple. So let's get going on that. So you'll need to log into your registrar, whatever that may be, where you registered your domain originally. Then you'll need to navigate over to your domains. In this case, I would be clicking here, and then I'm going to I'll have a list of domains that we hold. I will not reveal all of our domains, so we'll be jumping right into one of the domains that we have. Alright, so I jumped into my own domain, webbaker.com, and we're going to be modifying DNS settings. So again, each one hides them a little bit. It's a little bit difficult to get to where you can modify DNS settings. In this case, the obscure little button is actually right here. I'm going to click this one. And then we get a list of records. These are DNS records. Sometimes you'll find a bunch of those. Sometimes you'll have just a couple of them. But usually there's like around 30, between 5 and 30, sometimes 40 records. They basically establish where the website works. MX record relates to where the emails are, how to make sure that spam doesn't get through. I mean, there's a lot of configurations here. What we're looking for is the A records, and A records are like right here. So there's one A record, type of record is an A record, 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 A records. Sometimes you might have a CNAME record that has www. If you have CNAME record that has www and an IP address, before you modify a record, you will need to delete that CNAME record that has the 3 W's. Otherwise, you will not be able to add or modify A records. So if you have A records that have an IP address, you will need to click on the edit button, and then you will need to enter the new IP address. And if you are on our support package, then in that case, or if your website is basic HTML website, you're going to be on our server. It's a protected server. In that case, we would need to enter this specific IP address. Make sure you don't have like spaces in between. This address is what you need. So type it in, and then this is a record 3 W's. We'll click save, In this case, I'll click cancel because we have it already. Then we'll need to have an A record with a star, same thing. And then A record and @ is this one. Sometimes you might also have CNAME and IP address. Also, that will need to be removed. Another option is that you might have a parked domain. So the domain is, let's say, registered with GoDaddy or some other company, and it will have like parked records here. Pretty much all of those will need to be deleted. If there's a record that, well, you'll see that it cannot be deleted, don't delete those records. But anything that can be deleted on a parked scenario can be deleted, with exception if you have an MX records. So if you use an email system and you've been using your domain for like emails, in that case be very cautious, because you will screw up your email if you delete the MX records. So that's pretty much it. If you don't have A records, you can click on add a record button here. You'll add an A record, again, @ www and the star. Star isn't that important, so if you cannot add the star, don't worry about it, but the 3 W's and @ are critical to have for your domain to point to the right location. And TTL there, 1 hour, is fine as well. It doesn't really matter what specific TTL value you have. Once you do that, it will take a little bit of time to propagate, but once it propagates, you'll be able to see that your website will point to our server, and your page will look something like this. So your website will show up something like this. That means that your A records have propagated successfully, and you're pointing to our server on our hosting server, where we can then complete the customization and create a hosting account for you. Thanks. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. If you would like us to work on it together, please book a Zoom call, ask me for a Zoom link, and then we can work through it together and get that stuff updated.